Well, hello everyone. This is the ExploreTraveler podcast. This is your host, John Gentry. And as usual, this is brought to you by ExploreTraveler.com. So let's just start off with some of the headlines today. As you see for the photo that I chose, it was a headline capture of a report by the BBC. And in there you see the Catalonians of Spain who were part of a previous civilization, what is now called Spain today. Their parliament has declared independence, and that independence is going to have a far-reaching impact on Europe in general, and the European Union, and of course the government of Spain. They had a referendum where it was overwhelmingly the people had chosen independence, but the parliament was still in negotiations with the government of Spain at the time. But how the Spanish government tried to stop the referendum was very heavy-handed, and they resorted to violence against an unarmed populace who had only chosen to vote their conscience as they saw fit. Now, you have to wonder, with the European Union coming down on the side of Spain, on how they're going to try to thwart this independence movement in this area of Spain. It's been going on for some time. This is not exactly new news, but it's going to have a wider political impact across the region. Now, nothing we do in this world these days really truly isolates us, because most people are operating on fiat currency. Their fiat currencies are trading within the financial markets, and now we have cryptos, currencies, or Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever. But those are internationally traded. In some ways, they're more international than even the U.S. dollar, because there's a lot of just average people involved in cryptocurrency. And I know I like to call cryptos as a utility, because it's a utility because it gives you the ability to utilize the technology to move something from one place to the other. But you could also look at Bitcoin as a commodity. And commodity is something similar to gold. And people like to think of gold as physical, but most of the gold that is actually traded in this world is actually paper gold. And they're not exactly trading gold. They're just trading paper that somewhere very far back along the paper trail, there is some gold backing it, but it's not, all the paper that's traded in the world, there's not enough gold, to cover all that. That's why they're able to trade and I would say manipulate the price of gold to the downside, is because they've got a lot of derivatives and all these other things that they're bundling together to be able to trade gold from a paper asset, so as a paper-based commodity. Now, if you look at Bitcoin as a commodity, then you would say Bitcoin is a storage of value, and in times of uncertainty, you're going to want to use things that historically have been considered storage of value. Gold and silver are definitely going to fit that bill. But I think there's a percentage of Bitcoin now that is now considered a commodity, and it is also being used as a storage of value in times of uncertainty. Because at least that in times of uncertainty, it's true, the price of Bitcoin could go down 50%, but you can move that Bitcoin from one place to the next. And, maybe you'll want to convert a certain amount of income to Bitcoin, and then you can disperse it into different assets from there. A lot of people actually buy gold with Bitcoin now, so it's not an unusual combination to be using it. So I'm wondering, with all of this disruption in Europe now that is going to be taking place politically, what that's going to do to Bitcoin from the commodity standpoint. And I'm thinking there could be some pressure to the upside. And I definitely would say that pressure to the upside for precious metals such as gold and silver I would say is probably going to be strong as well. Now, I haven't checked precious metals today, but I would say that if precious metals are going up, there should be pressure on Bitcoin as well. So as we are talking here, I'm going to pull up Coinbase and let's see. It looks like Bitcoin's kind of in a trading range still. It's at 5,750. Ethereum is at 293 and Litecoin's at 55. Let's pull up some of the altcoins. Steam is it says it's up 1%, but it's still at 98 cents to the US dollar. Let's see what else is interesting that's going on. There's definitely still pressure on altcoins. Monero is at 86. Interestingly enough, Dogecoin's done quite well today. It's up 3%. That's a very interesting story. If you ever get a chance to look into why the person who created Dogecoin did it, it's kind of comical, and it's still around today. It has a pretty good community, so it's still definitely around. Let's see, Zcash is at 240. So anyway, I think keep an eye on the markets the next couple days. Let's see how things. I think people are in Europe are going to be less likely to want to convert cryptocurrency to fiat currency with some of the changes that's happening in Europe. They may want to just hold on to some of that Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever that they're using. I see there's a lot of news, but I don't see anything that just sort of stands out. There's people talking about the bull exhaustion of Bitcoin because it's back below 6,000. But, you have a run up from 5,000 to 6,000 in about a month. You're going to have some consolidation and some time before it's going to move forward. I don't know. Anything above 2,000, I think we're still in a bull market from a cryptocurrency standpoint. So, and since we're above 5, I don't think we have anything to worry about. Before this European situation had happened today, I was sort of leaning towards a little bit more consolidation in Bitcoin itself, and maybe a little bit of selling off because people are going to want to buy into some of these altcoins that they had dropped and try to get in why some of these prices are low. But, I don't know. In times of uncertainty, I would say you want to own more gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens as time goes on. Just real quickly, sort of an update. Our participation in SteamFest is still ongoing, and we will be updating the podcast. And we've got some people that are still going to be doing, of course, articles on Steemit. There's been some hiccups on Steemit recently, so bear with us on that. And I will probably be doing some more posts from my personal account on Steemit at John Gentry. And I'm going to be doing more podcasts on the road. Maybe I'll do a podcast when we get to Istanbul, and maybe another podcast while we are in Portugal. We should get a little bit more of a feeling on cryptocurrency in that area of Europe. We'll try to feedback that information to you. We believe knowledge is power, and it's not about how long you talk about it. It's just about how much information that we can squeeze in a good 10 to 20 minutes for a small podcast. Where do we see Bitcoin at the end of the year? I do not know. I suspect it's going to be in this trading range between 5,000 and 7,000. I know some people are calling for 10,000 Bitcoin in the year. I don't have any evidence at the moment that it's heading in that direction. And so until I start seeing some new the market never really closes, I guess, with cryptos. But until I see on a day in, day out, 24-hour cycle where Bitcoin stays above 6,000 and slowly ticks up, I don't even want to, tell people to expect 7,000, because, like I said a few minutes ago, I had, before this Catalonian independence move, I had suspected Bitcoin would probably move a little bit down, in response to the excessive buying over the last 30 days in anticipation of this hard fork. So if it may be that there's pressure to the upside because Bitcoin Gold hasn't gone well and people are selling it in order to get the Bitcoin, putting pressure on Bitcoin, keeping the price higher. So we'll see how that goes. But we're very excited about our cryptos. We're very excited that Bitcoin is also considered as a commodity trade and the storage of wealth in uncertainty. And we look forward to bringing you more and more information via our website, ExploreTraveler.com, where we will continue to bring you the travel information. And we may try to find a way to integrate some crypto news into the website as time moves on. We're going to definitely continue to talk about our travels. I just don't know if we're going to talk about it as extensively on the podcast as we had in the past, or we'll focus more on financing those travels from a crypto utility, currency, storage utility for storage of wealth to be able to be used for travel. So I think we're going to focus more from a financial standpoint with a little bit of travel information kind of mixed in. And we'll let the Steemit and we'll let the website have the articles about our travels, current, past, and future. So until next time, this is John Gentry signing off. And please visit us and share our information from ExploreTraveler.com, from our podcasts and our social media accounts around the world. We thank you for listening. We thank you for participating. And until next time, travel on, everyone.